week is service. Do you know what service is?
Service is life.
Service is life.
Yes.
Service is life.
It's life.
Is it life?
Yes.
So what is service though? Like what? To be like, I guess I could be of service to somebody?
Yes.
Okay. So
Exactly.
it's like to act, to help somebody or give assistance to them.
Right. So what are
Service
we
is
what are we in this
life.
world to do?
Give service, I guess.
Is
That's what
it?
you're saying. Well, I don't know. You're
Well,
saying
that's what
service
I'm
is
saying.
life.
It's life. It is.
Yeah.
It is, because the truth is that, I mean, if we aren't living our lives where we are of service to others, then what are we doing? Right?
Living life. Not really.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
Okay, so if you are not of service to others
Yeah.
in what you do, then how much value do you have to others?
None.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
True.
so think about it. The people who are the most successful in the world are the ones that are able to bring the most value to the most people.
Okay.
Think about that.
Okay.
So,
Thinking.
in terms of like, you think about, big mogul millionaires, they've created things, or they have some kind of a product or service,
Yeah.
which actually impacts a lot of people, and that's why they end up creating so much wealth in their lives, right?
But so now I'm thinking, you got me thinking about something else. So now I'm thinking about like a company that provides services to us, but we have to pay them.
Right.
So like, but I think service is more like a volunteer type of thing, but I guess it's not just that.
Well, what really matters is the reason for the service.
Okay.
Right. So what it comes down to is is this a service that are you doing something for the right reasons?
Right.
Right. Are you doing it because you're going to get paid for it?
Right.
Or are you doing it because it's something that you really just want to do? In the case, if it's because it's something you care about.
Believe in or care about. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So the fact is that when it comes to being able to create to really having a thriving type of attitude, right? To having like everything in your world growing, you have to have a lot of people involved.
Yeah.
Right. So the more what you do impacts people, the more that comes back to you in terms of, it may not be monetary. Sometimes it's monetary, like when you talk about with a business,
Right.
provide a service, they pay you for the service.
Yeah.
Right.
But a lot of the times too, like if you think of small businesses and services, they're not doing it to make the buck. They're doing it because it's something that they're passionate about, or it's something they truly believe in, they care about, and then the money's just extra. I feel like that's when a business or services would really thrive. When they're not out to make the money.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like it's really when they have something that they really believe in, that provides something which usually it fits a need, it fills a need that for somebody.
Yeah.
And so by using that, they're able to then, I mean, the people who are using it are basically like paying for it because they really want it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's just one way of compensation, sort of thing. There's other ways to compensate people, right, for the things they do for us.
Right.
And there's a give and take. And that happens in everything, right? Whether it's monetary, whether it's emotional, whether it's, in terms of our relationships.
Yep.
Who is that? You think about now that I say all that kind of stuff, I feel like I keep thinking about like mob guys for some reason. I don't know why, but it's just like, because like they always say you ever need anything, you come to me.
Yeah.
Right? Sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
That's like, he's offering his service.
Yeah.
But the thing is that
It's probably not free.
but the reason why they created so much power for themselves was because they were taking care of so many people.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what gave them like their positioning. It's like, you need anything, you come to me.
Right.
Right. Don't go to that guy and give him the opportunity to serve you.
Right.
I want to serve
I
you.
will.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny to think of mob bosses that way, but the fact is that it's
I guess it is.
it's just for some reason that plays through my head every time I talk about this, because that was so. It was so verbose for them. Like it was so in front, like in your face.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to take care of you and you're going to do something for me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so it was very clear,
Yeah.
right,
It
what
would
was
have
going to
been.
happen there.
I'd be scared.
Right? So, yeah, because it usually didn't turn it
Yeah.
usually led to things not so good.
Yeah.
But the thing is that it's a really good way to illustrate what happens on a regular basis with just the little things
Yeah.
that happen every day in life, right? And if what you're doing in the course of your day isn't serving others,
Yeah.
then, I mean, there's a time and space for everything, but you should in your day-to-day life at some point have touching points where you really are providing greater value to other people.
Yeah.
Right? So whether it's in the development of a product,
Right.
or development of a service that is for a company that are going to go on to create great value for others.
Yeah.
It's all part of it.
But how's that going to help you?
There's a couple of things.
Yeah.
One is the sense of satisfaction we get from providing service. And again, this comes back to the reason.
Yeah.
Right? If your reasons for the service you're providing to somebody comes from a place that's not sincere,
Yeah.
right? Maybe it's because, going back to like sticks and carrots,
Right.
maybe it's because you're doing something because they offered you a carrot,
Yeah.
right? And that's the reason you're doing it. It becomes something that's more empty and you're not so satisfied by it. But if your reasons are come from a sincere place where you have a sense of, I want to help this person. I care about what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Right? Then the outcome when it happens, it's much more satisfying,
Definitely.
right? And in turn, that is for your own mental health.
Yeah.
Like, let's put it into those terms, right?
Yeah.
Like let's think about it in those terms, in terms of your sense of fulfillment, of like some people consider duty,
Yeah.
right? Some people consider like to be of service as a duty.
Yeah.
Like when you think about military service, for example, some people, depending
on
on their
duty.
upbringing, well, they're on duty,
Yeah.
but for some people,
do
just
duty.
in their upbringing, they get instilled into them a sense of like national pride, and that it's your duty to go out and serve your country,
Yeah.
and things like this.
Yeah.
And these are all, and if you do it, like how many times do you hear about how some military, when they come back, they're still like, it's so ingrained into them, the sense of like satisfaction they got
Yeah.
from what they had accomplished
Right.
in their tour.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So this all comes back to really our sense of our. And when I started, I said service is life.
Yeah.
It's because it's what we're made for.
Right.
Like it's part of what human beings do.
Do you think everybody practices service?
Everybody has to at some point.
They have to.
Yeah, they just have to. I mean, you're not going to survive if you don't.
Do you think it's something that can be done daily?
Yeah, I think that every day. It'd be interesting if you just put it into your lifestyle to wake up and just say, who am I going to be of service today? Or
Right.
how am I going to be of service today? Right? Or who is it I'm going to serve today?
You know what it reminds me of? Like you saying that, it reminds me of the Addams Family. The Addams Family, and what was the doorman's guy's name? And he was just their server. Like he just did everything for them. Yeah, that's just what it reminds me of.
It reminds you of the Addams Family.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you said that, you have to wake up every day and provide service, it reminded me of the Addams Family.
You reminded you of a butler who got
the
up and
butler.
who got up and was taking care of the Addams Family.
Yeah, I guess so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Peer into the mind of Kelly. Okay. So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, like it's different for everybody, obviously. You know, you're not getting up to take care of a family. You're getting up to take care of, like, who is it that you're going to, like, it's an outward look rather than looking inward.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah, definitely.
and you know that, and it doesn't come, and again, for the reasons, right? If the reasons are that you're just that you're excited, that you have a sense of anticipation, of adventure, of exploring the possibilities of what's going to happen when I go to serve somebody,
Yeah.
right? Then it just makes life more interesting, but at the same time, you have the benefits of the sense of satisfaction that I talked about.
Yes.
And just the overall mental health. I'm sure, and we don't have this on hand, but I'm relatively sure that there's probably been some kind of scientific study that's been done
Yeah.
about the effects of, You know,
Service.
what happens when you go and serve somebody, and it's probably going to say
mental health effects.
your amygdala lights up and your whole brain starts to, and then suddenly you have like 25% more activity in your brain cells, and it'll say something like that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but it's just versus when you just didn't do anything to help anybody, right?
So what do you think the world would look like if every single person provided service every day?
If every single person provided service every day, we'd probably be living on Mars by now. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Because
I think people would be happier.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah. The world would be a happier place.
Yeah. Not so much negativity.
There wouldn't be as much, because you know what? What is the phrase? Idle hands are the devil's playthings.
I was gonna say the devil's something. Yeah.
Yeah. So same thing. Like if you're too busy providing service to others, or you're working at, like you're taking care of someone else, or just even doing anything that's helping other people, you don't have time to be idle and to come up with all this rabble kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that it would really change. It would change everything.
And what would the world look like if nobody provided service? Service is such a big thing. Like you got customer service, and then you got all the companies and small businesses that provide little services. So like, I guess that's a broad question that I just asked. So I mean, like individually, what would the world look like if people individually didn't provide services to other people?
I think a lot of people would die.
We'd be far from Mars than what we already are.
Well, okay, so if nobody provided services to others, first off, you would have babies dying because mothers aren't feeding their kids.
Yeah.
You would have people dying because nobody is bringing food to them anymore because
like the elders.
Yeah. And then and so it's just a chain reaction because nobody is taking care of anybody anymore.
Right.
Right. And
That's sad.
But then when you get down
to world.
it's very sad. It's the end. So when I said service is life, the opposite is service is service is death. Right?
That's crazy to think about. Now I'm getting the whole service is life thing.
That's right.
Yeah. Interesting. Do you remember a time that somebody provided service to you?
A time somebody provided service to me. You know what? The strongest thing that came to my mind just thinking about that just now, probably because it's the most recent, is last weekend I took a trip to Cape Breton.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was really impressed with trying for the first time a lobster poutine. Yeah, a lobster poutine.
Yum!
Yeah, and it was at this place called Bella's by the Sea.
Yeah.
It's just a little it was just a little chip truck.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, those are my favorite. They make the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But these folks, they didn't just make a poutine. By the way, a lobster poutine. This is what it's made of. So it's actually like a regular poutine, like with fries and everything.
Yeah, fries, cheese curds, gravy.
Right. But on top of that, they put some like shredded lobster.
Buttery shredded lobster.
Like all on top of it, right?
Yum.
Now, the fries they put into this, they made them like on the spot.
Right out of potatoes.
Right out of potatoes. Right? They chopped them up and made them. It took 10 minutes, but fair enough. And they put all that effort into creating this lobster poutine.
Wow.
Right? And I could tell that there was like a lot of effort put into it.
Yeah.
Right? So, and it was delicious. It was so awesome, right? And yeah, we just had an awesome experience. My son, it was part of it was because my son never had lobster.
Yeah.
Wanted to have him try lobster.
Yeah.
He of course he picked out a little piece just to try by itself without the gravy and everything.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, this is good, right?
Yeah. There's not much flavor to like there is like flavor, don't get me wrong, but it's not strong.
It's not very strong.
And if it is, it's probably not that great.
I think that half the flavor in lobster that a lot of people like is the sauces that they come with, right?
Yeah, the garlic butter.
It's the garlic butter, it's the sauce
Lemon
they dip
butter.
in and all kinds of things. That's what really, that's
now
what sets
I want
it all off.
lobster.
Well, it's a good thing we live in the Maritimes then. But yeah, in terms of service, that's the first thing that really comes to my mind because it was above and beyond the experience that I have everywhere in a lot of other places, right?
And it was just out of a food truck.
And but
that's amazing.
I believe it's because like those people weren't putting all that effort into giving me that lobster poutine because of the $11 I paid for it.
Right.
Right? They were putting that effort into it to make sure that I was going to enjoy it.
Right.
And it came through.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
So again, it comes back to the reasons.
They wanted you to enjoy it. They didn't want to serve you a crappy.
Yeah.
And
they
make
weren't just
their
like,
bucks.
I'm going to get my, like, they when I placed my order, they weren't like, okay, that's my $11.
Yeah.
You know, so let's just do this so I can get my $11. If they did that, I probably would have gotten something that would be like, ugh, right? And I wouldn't be talking about it right now.
Right. You wouldn't be. Or
So-
you'd be talking about the terrible service.
Yeah, or I'll be talking about how terrible the service is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, well, I just don't like to do that actually, but
No.
but the fact is that's a good example to me
Yeah.
of when someone served me that really came through in terms of like the love they put into what they were doing for me.
Right. I think mine, again, was a recent one as well. I took my kids to Get Air. It's a trampoline park in the city. And it's for Tuesdays, I guess it was buy an hour, get an hour free. So we got an hour free. So I was pretty pumped about that. And I had to get 2 pairs of socks for the kids because they need like the grippy bottoms. I had a pair, but they were grown out of theirs. And I bought the 2 pairs and he just gave them to me for free. He's like, he rang them in first. He's like, oh, they're $20 for the 2 of them. He's like, I'll just give them to you. So he just gave them to me for free. And I was like, that's amazing. Because Riker had his like a birthday tag on. So maybe he thought that maybe he was being nice because it was his birthday, or he was just a nice young gentleman. But I was pretty happy about that. And we bounced for about an hour and a half. And my shoulders are super sore right now. And I never thought that my shoulders would be sore from jumping. But I guess like, because you're like going like this when you're jumping, like, I don't know. They had like good pop music going on too. We were dancing and yeah, I tried to do a back handspring. That wasn't very good.
That's what did it right there. The back handspring.
The back handspring. Anyways, no, it was definitely really good service. I like it because you don't go in expecting stuff like that. I didn't know it was Tuesday. I didn't know it was buy one, get that. So I was excited for that. And then again, he gave us our socks for free, the boys' socks. So I was pretty happy about that. It was excellent service. I highly suggest going there as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And you don't really know the reasons he did that. You maybe because your son it was his birthday
Yeah, I have
and he
no
just
clue.
wanted to do something nice
Or
for
maybe
him.
if you buy 3 tickets, you get I don't think you get a pair of socks for free. I don't know.
Yeah. But the fact is that the reasons behind it seem or feel
Yeah.
like they were sincere.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
That it was something that he just wanted to do for you.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't because it was like, oh, it wasn't like he's going to get, he did that because he's going to get a bonus for giving away socks. Like, no, of course not.
No, exactly. Definitely not.
So so for you
Yeah.
on the receiving end, you felt a human connection
Yeah.
with somebody just wanting to take care of you and
Yeah.
just wanting to be able to do something that was to make your day better
Right.
or even, so that to me is a really good example of why the reasons are so important, right? If we don't know what his reasons are, but the way it came across
Yes.
was the connection that was important.
That's definitely
Right.
was the connection, the way it came across.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So it's really, this to me is something that I feel is like, I'm thinking about this a lot these days because of the work I'm doing with peer plays.
Yeah.
Because humanizing blockchain is all about, and getting into this aspect of what's the reason behind people are doing things.
Yeah.
Right. Why are things being done the way they're being done?
Yeah.
Right. And if we don't pay attention to these types of things, that's when we turn into robots,
Yeah.
and then we start to we start to get into the whole carrots and sticks stuff, and that's when things fall apart.
Yeah.
Right. So so this is all about service.
I guess just be aware in life and try to provide. It might be hard, like you said, to wake up every morning and be like, what service can I provide today? But maybe you could try doing it for like a week
Yeah.
and just see how you feel at the end of the week, because maybe you'll want to continue doing that. And it could just be little things as well.
And you know what? When people do these kinds of experiments with themselves,
Yeah.
you never know what it could lead to.
Right.
Right. So if you try for a week to wake up and say, who am I going to be service to today?
Yeah.
And it ends up sending you in a different direction in that day. Oftentimes, you end up with these stories of people who did these things, and then they ended up serving this guy, and it turned out that it was just a random stranger. The person turned out to be somebody who was this multimillionaire and was so impressed by the way they were that you did something for them.
Yeah.
They offered you a job on the spot or something, right? These crazy stories come out of this kind of stuff.
They do, yeah.
Right? But this is how we thrive, right? This is
Yeah.
what as we put ourselves in this direction, this is how we're able to gain more opportunities to be able to grow.
Right.
Right.
So the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. And who said that?
Mahatma Gandhi.
Mahatma Gandhi. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, the best way to so imagine what that, when you think about, when you say lose yourself.
Lose yourself? I think of Eminem's song, Lose Yourself.
There you go.
Lose yourself in the music, the moment.
That's right. Yeah, I know that song.
Yeah.
Rap, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's the same sort of thing. And when he's talking about losing yourself, it's actually like talking about embracing something else, right?
Right.
And to be of service to others and to make that your, like, what you are, like to realize what you're all about as a service to others. Yeah, you create this whole new you.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with that quote. The more I'm reading it, the more I guess it all depends on what type of service you're giving. If it's a type of service to not necessarily make your life better, but to make sure it makes you feel better, because there's also services where you get, say, a relationship and you're serving your partner nonstop, but that relationship isn't a healthy relationship. And so the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. I don't think that is always a thing. I think the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself. I agree with that part of it, but not in the service of others. I don't think. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's one thing to be...
You just make sure you're aware of what services you're giving.
Right.
And are they making you a better person? Are they making you happy? Are they making not just you, but obviously the other person as well?
It comes back to the reasons.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so
100%.
So if you're in a relationship where you're of service to somebody else, maybe it's not service. Maybe it's subjugation.
Whoa, that's a big word.
Right?
What does that mean?
Well, subjugation means to be, wow, I don't even know how to describe it. So subjugation means to be like to be controlled, essentially.
Okay.
Like to be subjugated. I can't even
Subjugated?
describe it without saying that. Subjugated, yeah.
Yeah.
So essentially, it's like you're under their command, right? So that's not service.
No.
No, that's something else.
Yeah.
And it comes back to the reasons, and maybe you fooled yourself into thinking that you're being a good person and that you're serving them, but the truth is that no, it's actually almost a defense response to protect yourself, because you're actually being subjugated by them, right? With the amount of control that they have over you, sort of thing. Those kind of scenarios, that's not service. So to defend Gandhi.
Sorry, Gandhi.
the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others.
Yeah.
Means real service.
Yes.
Right. So sincere service that comes from a sincere place in your heart.
Yeah.
So.
It was funny because I completely agreed with this at first, and then the more I read it, I was like, no, those last 3, 4, 5 words, I was like, I just don't. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So stay tuned for our next episode, because we're going to be talking about how to provide services for people.
How to. Okay. Sounds good. So tune in so that you'll be able to see what are we doing?
Provide. How-tos.
The how-tos of providing service in life.
Providing service. Did you say?
What?
I thought you said providing service instead of providing.
I said providing.
Okay. We're providing services.
I did not just do a Kellyism.